The real reason you keep pushing even when you're exhausted. And it's important to understand your inner driver. So if you're an executive or a businesswoman or in leadership, there will be underlining drivers to your ambition, your performance, and the work that you do that will dictate your energy, your mood, and your outcomes, and your capacity as well. So in this episode, I'm going to talk about what those 5 drivers are, and I'm sure you're going to recognize yourself in more than one of these. So understanding my drivers was really insightful for me, and it explains so much, and it was a little bit of a relief, because if you're anything like me where you keep pushing and everyone tells you to slow down or that you should take a break or why can't you just be happy with where you're at, etc. If people are saying that to you, then you must know that there is a driver that is pushing you to keep going, and identifying that driver just brings a lot of clarity for you, takes away a lot of guilt and makes a lot of sense and allows you to operate within that driver with a lot more capacity. When we don't identify our drivers, when they're not clear, when they're not made aware to us, then it can lead to exhaustion, it can lead to stress, anxiety, mental health issues, poor sleep, mood swings, brain fog, and so much more, which all of it undermines what we're trying to do and pushes us into burnout. So first one is a visionary driver. This is someone who is driven by potential, to understand their own potential, but also to reach self-actualization. Now, self-actualization is about becoming everything you are here to become. So it can create meaning and purpose in your life. And it was a coined term by Abraham Maslow. And he said everyone is striving for self-actualization. And so within your work, you may find, as I really identify with this driver, it's one of my top drivers, is that I love to just see how far I can go, right? I've done this, I've been able to create that, I've been able to have this, what else can I do, right? So it's like a curiosity to see how far my potential can go. But it's also to become the best version of myself. It's also to become that person that I was meant to become in this lifetime. The second one is the mission driver. This is when you're driven because you have a big mission in life. There's an impact that you want to make or a legacy that you want to leave. And so your kind of mantra will be, I'm here to make a difference. My work is here to make a difference. And you're really driven by that. There's a core desire or a core driver to make a difference in the world. And often for women, they're in leadership roles, right? They're founders, they're coaches, they're CEOs, they're consultants, they're change makers, and they're really connected to this mission. And again, this is another one of my top drivers in the work that I do. I could be doing any kind of work in the world. I could have any kind of business, but I choose to have this one because I love to help people. I have done work where helping and making a difference wasn't part of that role. It was really kind of soul draining for me. And so if you have a mission driver, it is really important for you to make a difference in the work that you do and make an impact. Driver number 3 is the high standards driver. This is about having stability, control. It's driven to do things or everything at a really high standard. And so normally women with this driver are responsible for many things like teams, clients, kids, finances, etc. And they're not driven by ego. They're driven because they want to do it really well. They want to do a really good job at everything that they do. And they're often seen as very reliable, very capable. A lot seems to land on their lap, and they push themselves hard to maintain that image. And so they end up having a lot on their plate. The 4th driver is the success driver. It's about recognition. It's about achieving. It's about, I want to be the best at what I do. So whatever field that you're in, if you feel yourself striving to really stand out and be the best, this is obviously one of your drivers, maybe hidden to you at the moment. And so it's not coming from a place of vanity. It's coming from a place of deep ambition to be successful, to achieve. And women often measure their success through goals, through metrics and performance. And there's a real thrill of achieving for the sake of achieving, right? And so it's like getting something accomplished really fires them up with energy, and they fall in love with the whole process of achieving. So it's this real success and achievement driver. And number 5, and the final driver, and these are kind of the top drivers, right? There could be some subtle drivers in there as well, and maybe some things from our past that have become a driver. But these are the top 5. The 5th one is the Redefiner Driver. This is where you want to have success, you want to have it all, but on your terms. And there's a real driver for freedom and ease and balance, okay? So a woman who wants success, but not if it costs her her health, her happiness, her peace, or her relationships. And so I really see this as a true high performer, someone who has the business, the finances, the relationship, the well-being, their health all in check. Otherwise, I kind of see it as you're just a high achiever, right? You're pushing yourself really hard and everything in your life kind of, the wheels fall off, right? And that's not really a high performer. High performer has all of those in check. And so the Redefiner Drive, which is definitely something that I recognize in myself, is that making sure that health and well-being and family are up there just as much with success, kind of they sit on the same line, rather than losing all the things around you, including your health, for the sake of success. So for this one, she's here to redefine success, right? That includes both achievement and well-being. And she's driven to build a life that feels good, looks good from the inside and out. So why does this matter to know our drivers? Now, as I've gone through them, you've probably recognized quite a few for yourself. There's definitely two top ones for me and there's a third. So you could have bits from all of them, right? But there's definitely one or two that are sitting top priority for you, that are driving you day to day. It's important to know this. The reason why it matters to know your driver is that it stops you from fighting with your own nature. Now, what I mean by that is that most high-performing women have been told some version of, why can't you just be satisfied with where you're at? You need to slow down. You're already doing so much. Why are you doing too much? And so when a woman reads about her driver, particularly if you're a visionary or, have the mission or impact driven, something inside you clicks and goes, oh, there's nothing wrong with me, right? I'm just wired for more. And that's just how you came to this earth, okay? And I don't think we need to read more into it than that, but that's how you're wired. And that's going to bring you fulfillment in your life, is to keep following your own nature. So when you understand your driver, you can stop resisting the way that you are, and you can actually just build a system that supports you with your unique wiring. The other reason it's really important to understand your drivers is that you recognize your own unique stress triggers. Each driver has its own unique stress trigger, okay? And I'm going to go more into this in the next episode next week, because there are specific patterns, and when they're left unchecked can lead to mental, physical and emotional stress. So visionaries can often get overstimulated and it leads to frustration. Mission-driven women hit compassion fatigue. The high standards woman gets stuck in perfectionism, which leads to anxiety. The achievement-focused woman can burn out from overdrive and overdoing. And the Redefiner Driver struggles with inconsistency, and so it often leads to a lot of mental overwhelm or mental clutter. So the key thing is to know what your driver is and intervene early, because there is a shadow side, which I'm going to go into next week, before it leads to burnout. Knowing your driver also leads to your own kind of personalized path to recovery and resilience. So not every woman needs the same kind of rest and recovery. And so if you're a visionary, then you need mental space and clarity. If you're an achiever, you need strategic recovery and mental sharpness. If you're a redefiner, then you need structure that feels aligned and doesn't feel too restrictive. So understanding your driver gives you the right type of restoration, so you do feel renewed, and so you're not resting using other techniques and still feeling tired. The fourth reason why knowing your driver makes a big difference is it dissolves the guilt around wanting more, okay? I hear women say, I should be just happy. I should be really happy. My life is great. And there's nothing wrong with wanting more, right? That just doesn't mean that you're ungrateful. It means that you're expansive, right? And bringing awareness to that means that you can be both a powerful leader and a present mother without carrying guilt for either role. And lastly, knowing your driver helps to protect your mental health, right? Because many women attach their worth to their outcomes, their roles and responsibilities. And when that cracks, so when we have a health issue or a business challenge or a financial challenge, we can feel lost, we can feel anxious and even depressed. So when you understand your inner driver, it can root your identity in your aligned purpose, not just your performance, not just your outcomes, not just your achievements. So what I would love you to do now is leave a comment and let me know what are the top one or two drivers that you recognize for yourself. And if this was a bit of an aha moment for you as well, like if it was really nice to hear the drivers called out and go, yeah, actually that is me, and that makes a lot of sense. In the next episode, I'm going to share with you what is the shadow side of our drivers, right? There's always a shadow side, and how we can build capacity around our drivers. So obviously our driver helps us to push us through this life, but if we're not aware and we don't build capacity around it, right? If we're not upgrading ourselves each time we're going through, I guess, a new upgrade in life and in business, then we can't hold more. We reduce our capacity and we can burn out. So I'm going to talk about the shadow side and how each driver has its own capacity building strategy in order to keep you at high performance without burning out, without, feeling mentally and physically exhausted, without having poor sleep or any of those impacts that we can feel when we don't build the capacity around it. But in the meantime, leave me a comment below, if there is an option to leave a comment below, on what are your drivers.